Hi everyone, my name is Subhan. I'm the youth officer for SNP BAME Network, and over the past couple of weeks, I've been volunteering for the COP26 conference here in Glasgow. I was fortunate enough to be chosen as one of the 1,000 volunteers that are hosting the hundreds of delegates that are coming to Glasgow for this conference from all around the world. My role includes I'm in the accommodation hub, which means I'm going around all the hotels around the city centre, the Glasgow, making sure that the delegates, the negotiators, the leaders are having a comfortable stay, and making sure that all their needs are met, and taking them to the conference, from the conference. And it's been a great experience so far. I've met so many delegates, and answered all their queries and questions, and I'm grateful to be a part of this once in a lifetime opportunity.
I went to COP26 and I followed the protests. I was very happy with the ethnic and cultural diversity. It is important to see that the world is mobilized by the environment, especially countries from the global south, which are already experiencing the effects of climate change firsthand.
Dr. Shelly-Ann Brown, Women's Officer for the SNP BAME Network Affiliate Group. During COP26, I sat on the panel for discussion hosted by the Scottish International Week 21, delivered through a Scottish Business Network. I sat on the Is Scotland Inclusive panel, where I delivered gender equality representation data with regards to our move toward greener jobs, more career STEM driven jobs, and is there equal gender representation in this regard.
When you drive electric car, they tell you how many, if you drive very smooth, nicely, how many trees you are planted in this world. If you're driving nicely, you say, okay, you have been planted 100 trees. That's your contribution. Look at your garden outside. Most of the people, they said, okay, just leave it like that. I don't care. Why don't you put the small trees, nice plants, to make it more greener?
What needs to be done?
The main things that this conference needs to focus on is bringing down the CO2 emissions level to 1.5%. That is what we agreed in Paris Agreement in 2015. We need to honor that, so that the generations coming forward, our children's children, live in a planet that is not under the risk. So I would say that's really important, and hopefully that is the case, and we get a Glasgow Pact out of this, Glasgow Pact 2021. That sounds good, right?
Now, in response to this, the Scottish Government, led by MSP Minister Jamie Hepburn, in their action plan which responds to Skills Development Scotland's Climate Emergency Skills Action Plan, they have recognized this as a key priority as they address the gender inequality gap. In their priority, they have seen that they are seeking to ensure fairness and inclusion in the skills system as a part of the just transition to net zero. So work has already begun in this regard, and as we continue in this regard, we are likely to reach gender parity, particularly as we transition to net zero.
We need to listen to Indigenous people. They have ancestral knowledge of environmental protection, and they take care of the preservation of more than 80% of our forests.
We need to tackle the structural barriers that women face in entering greener jobs. For instance, women are more likely to balance family and work life. They have caring duties and responsibilities, and they are more likely to engage flexible working conditions. Therefore, we need to encourage employers and recruiters to change their recruitment and employment practices so that women can be much more easily accommodated into the job market.
Affordable access to renewable technologies to developing countries. Ecological relations are disadvantaged between the global north and south as a consequence of colonialism, neoliberalism, and globalization.
With regards to our educational system in Scotland, we are certainly much fairer. There are, with the intervention of STEM-related intervention programs that exposes STEM-related careers to females from as young as in the primary school all up until tertiary level education. So within the educational sector, we are fairer as we move toward much more gender equality and gender representation. Now, when we look into the world of work, the transition from the educational system into the world of work, that is where the gap still remains pretty wide, especially related to greener jobs such as STEM-related jobs. Statistics still show, for instance, sectors such as construction, manufacturing, engineering, and so forth are still male-dominated, career-driven.
International policies to end environmental racism. Environmental racism is racial discrimination in environmental policy making, enforcement of regulations and laws, deliberately targeting BAME communities to toxic waste facilities, official sanctioning of the presence of poisons and pollutants with risk of life to communities, and exclusion of BAME people from the leadership of ecological movements.